Most people would say that Licorice Recoil is probably the best new show of the season, but the season is already over and everyone already talked about it. So Isekai Ojisan is just as good, and even though they are too different to compare, to me it could honestly be even more enjoyable. And also it got delayed, so I still have a bit of time to make this video. Now this anime is technically an isekai, and I know what you're thinking. Most seasonal isekai are absolute shit. And yeah, I can't deny that even though I watch all of them. But Isekai Ojisan is unique in that sense. It's not about getting hit by a truck and going to another world with big titty elves. It's about coming back to the real world after spending decades in a fantasy world with medium titty elves. Now, if that doesn't sound interesting to you, then you should be looking for a psychiatrist as soon as possible. And I'm sorry that you had to find out about your mental illness in a YouTube video, because after spending countless years watching shitty seasonal isekai, this one feels new. I might even say fresh. Now, as always, I'm late on making this video. The season is literally over, but let me tell you, Isekai Ojisan is one of the funniest shows I've seen in the last couple of years. Honestly, it might even rival the likes of Golden Boy, Prison School, and even Grand Blue. You need to watch it, and today I'm gonna tell you why. Now, like I said before, the premise is simple. This ugly ass dude gets isekai to another world, returns to his original world after almost 2 decades, and has to get used to living in modern society. And let me tell you, things are not the same, old man. We have TikTok and an extreme amount of mental issues. But the only thing that bothers him is that Sega lost the console wars. That's it. The initial premise is already extremely interesting, but there's a twist that I wasn't expecting. He can still use magic. Now, let me ask you, if you were able to use magic,
What would you do?
become a hero, rob banks, become a sex offender? Well, let me tell you, this man is thinking way ahead of everyone else. He moved in with his nephew and became a YouTuber, just basically showcasing his magic skills. Although, of course, everyone thinks it's CGI. No, that's a 200 IQ move if you ask me. You know, I'm trying to become a YouTuber myself, so like and subscribe, please. Anyways, he's technically a loser, and the show revolves around his daily life living with his nephew. And since he has magic, he can conveniently make a giant screen in which he shows or plays his adventures in the other world, like if it were a movie. So in those parts, the show is basically a comedy isekai, and a damn good one at that. Comedy is a weird genre in anime, because a lot of the shows are just not that funny for most people. And sure, we do have shows like Prison School, Golden Boy, and Grand Blue, which appeal to a large majority of people just for being insane. But most comedy anime are not like that. For example, I genuinely think that Non Biyori is one of the funniest anime ever made. I even made a video about it, and I got a lot of comments saying Grand Blue is better. Keion is another anime that I would place in the same category as Non Biyori, and I do understand why some people wouldn't like it, or think that they're just boring slice of life anime, which they technically are, but they're still good. Most comedy anime are just made for a specific type of people, and if you're not part of the target audience, you'll find it boring, or just straight up weird. But Isekai Ojisan, at least in my opinion, falls in that same tier as Prison School, in which most of the people watching this video will find it funny. Because yes, even though it has some niche jokes and topics, it's just simply bizarre, and the situations the characters get themselves into are fucking crazy, especially in the isekai world, like the uncle consistently being mistaken for an orc, because, you know, he fucking looks like an orc. I mean, most of you guys probably watch orc hentai, so I guess you would know. And every character has little funny quirks like that, like the elf being a tsundere, or Fujimiya looking like a... honestly, I don't know how to explain this, but the glow up. but also the Ice Lady. Which, let me tell you, I've never felt so connected to an anime character before. And no, for the first time in my channel, pretty much ever, it's not because she's hot. It's because her dream is to become a hermit and not have to work for the rest of her life. That's literally me. I mean, why do you think I'm doing this YouTube bullshit? I don't want to work. So, as far as the story goes, it's not serious at all. Don't expect anything deep, because when it's going in that direction, the uncle just makes it weird and funny. But honestly, don't let the lack of story steer you away from the show, because just watching the life of this creature is extremely entertaining. Pair that with good animation and great characters, and you're pretty much already ahead of most seasonal anime. The show has gotten progressively better, and most of the jokes land extremely well. Like, for example, he hears about a hedgehog monster that becomes a ball. Sound familiar? He's so far removed from reality that he thinks hedgehogs actually look like this. Yes, like a blue, sexy, humanoid animal. So yeah, let's just say he's disappointed when he confronts reality. So yeah, the show is great, and no, it's not only because I'm a huge Sonic fan. Like yeah, the food is good, but the only thing I want from the anime is for the elf girl to come to the real world. Cause it may sound weird as hell, but I want these two to fuck. Now, before ending the video, just look at the animation in the opening. It kinda looks like a Game Boy game, fire. And then he starts dancing in PS2 graphics, also fire. Everything's fire, but sadly, as I'm making this video, it was announced that the 8th episode was delayed until like November. And to be honest, this show won't be able to compete with the fall 2022 seasonal anime, just for the fact that Usagi-chan Season 2 will be airing. But it's sad that the show didn't get the attention it deserved during the last season, and it sure as hell isn't gonna get it now after all the production problems and delays. So, if by any chance you reached the end of the video, give it a chance. And if you've already watched it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, later.